Hi everybody, I'm standing here next to my 2003 Mercedes S Class and I'd just like to share with you a simple trick that I learnt this week. It might save you some money, it might be a waste of time, but here goes. In the boot I was hearing a whirring sound. It was almost like a CD trying to change. So what I actually did was I opened up this panel and took the CD changer out that was here, and that did not fix it. It was like a sound that was constantly running while the car was running. It was like a whirring sound. It was and then it would stop and then immediately keep going. And apparently, after much YouTube videoing and everything else, what I found out was that behind this foam here is what's called the Mercedes-Benz SPE. It's a vacuum pump. And what that does is that creates the vacuum that controls the central locking system. And that pump behind there was constantly on, and obviously we can't leave that on because it'll just burn the pump out, it'll melt, it'll catch fire, it'll do whatever it'll do, but it can't be left on. So if your pump is constantly going, it means you've got a leak somewhere in the system. So that vacuum pump creates the vacuum that activates your central locking for your boot and for your door locks. But if you're trying to find a leak in that system, you'll struggle. So this is the first thing to try. Because what I found out this week is that the vacuum pump also pumps up the lumbar support for the seat system. And so if we've got a leak, the cheapest first thing to do is to turn these seats off. So I don't know if we can get the camera in, but down on the front of your seat you'll see some buttons, 0 to 5, and the thing is, just click that down to 0. There's one on the driver's side and there's one on the passenger side, so just knock that down to 0 and see if your pump stops. That's what I did, and for the last couple of days it's been fine. The pump stopped whirring, it's gone back to normal, and I'm just going to leave these seats at 0. I don't need to do anything else with him. The seats are still firm enough for me. So what I learned is that apparently when you get these cars, people tend to just set these numbers on whatever number they want, 1, 2, 3, and they just leave them. But whatever airbag is in the seat cushion, obviously over time they leak. I suspect what's happened with me is that for a long time I was parking undercover and the car was in shade. But for the last 2 weeks it's been parked outside in the sun. It's summer here in New Zealand. It's got hot, something's expanded or something's cracked a seal and that's now leaking. But in 1 or 2 of these chairs the air was leaking out, which was causing the pump to go on. So hopefully that's a very quick thing to do, because obviously if the air is not leaking from the seats, then it's going to be leaking from something called an actuator, I think. And there's a little device in the doors and that controls your central locking. Something that's a vacuum pump down here, sucks air in and out, pulling the locks up and down. But I suspect that is a very complicated system, and if it's one of them that's leaking or is broken, then you have to take the entire door to bits, take everything out, and that will be an absolute pain. The only other thing that annoys me in this country is that, like I said, this is a 2003 car. Its approximate value on eBay is about 5,000 New Zealand dollars. But if I take it into a garage with a view to getting the air system checked, they're not going to be, the bill's not going to be any less than $1,000. So I am incredibly grateful. I found this hint on somebody's video, but it was hidden in a 10-minute video, 30 seconds of brilliance. So I thought I'd just put this on a short video. So first thing to try is the seats, because if it's not the seats, then obviously you can start pulling the air pipe system things to bits. You can get a smoke test. People use a cigar, pull the pipe off at the pump end, blow smoke through it, and wherever the smoke comes out is where it's leaking. But hey, try that guys and hope it helps. Thanks!